Hello everybody and welcome to the channel again. And today we have a confusing video. So I did say in my last video I was going to review the Hammond collection Carnotaurus, but I just got a new figure today. And this is the one I've been wanting for quite a bit and I couldn't get my hands on it. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. And without wasting any more time, let's get into the review. Today we'll be reviewing the Mattel's Hammond collection Pyroraptor. You probably already knew that due to the thumbnail. But let's not waste any more time. Let's actually get looking at the figure. So this is the new, but to my channel you obviously know, new Hammond collection Pyroraptor. Just got it out of the box. I'm just kidding, guys. This thing is not living up to the hype. So let's get this out of here. Let's get the actual thing in the camera. Yes, I actually have it in the package. Surprising. I know I never do that. But let's just speed this review up, as I know all my other reviews have been long. Looking at the package, we obviously have the big window here and the orange thing, as they didn't change it with this figure. We have a actual appearance of the figure, the title of this figure, you know, the Mattel branding, all that. Up on the top, you got some little cage design, Jurassic World or Jurassic Park logo, Hammond collection, and on the side you got the Hammond collection. On the back you actually have a lot of just shots of the figure and the close up the eye, and I will be talking about this eye because it's a phenomenal eye for a smaller figure. You got a little description of the Pyroraptor. You know, you could pause the video if you want to read that. I'm not going to force you guys. But we do have other figures of this line. We already have reviewed the Giganotosaurus, but I'm trying to get my hands on the Therizinosaurus for a later review. Over here you have a photoshopped image of the Pyroraptor with the Jurassic World Dominion logo, as this dinosaur did come out from that movie. So with that all said, let's get the figure out of the box. So let's get to unboxing. Guys, I'm going to be using a sharp object. Be careful if you open this box. And also, I did get my figure off of Amazon for a pretty penny. Yep, that's right. I got it for 70 bucks. That's expensive for a small figure. But I did really want this figure and I couldn't find it anywhere else. So, with that being said, let's open this box. Taking a look without the actual box, you have the yellowish savanna background, of course. And now looking at the actual figure, you have the tail on a separate place, and just it's being held up with one string, I believe. So let's get the tail out, and yeah, we're just going to be talking about this a lot. Hopefully I don't hurt the figure. Or did I just cut it? Oh, we actually got two. Ooh, I think I just almost cut the figure. Actually, let's just do the little technique. Ooh, I don't like how that sounded, but let's see if this figure wants to pop out nice. Sorry for everyone that is wearing headphones. Okay, and let's just pop that tail in, get all this out of the way. Well, this tail is a little bit tight. I don't want to run the figure. Let me do this off camera. Sorry. Okay, didn't actually make a snapping sound, but yeah, here's the Hammond collection Pyroraptor. So you know how my videos are, I'm going to be cutting them up into sections, talking about the figure and pros and cons of this figure. So let's get to the next part, shall we? Okay, and I'm back. And looking at this figure is, wow. This figure has to be one of the best smaller figures that I have in my collection. Off of first appearance, the paint looks great. The proportions look great. I know he's a little bit too big for his actual sizing because In the movie, he was a little bit smaller, but still, that's like almost like, I'm speechless. Sorry, that's like one of the only cons about this figure. Well, there's a little bit more, but yeah. So going into just the paint, or let's do sculpting first. Yeah, the sculpting is astonishing on this figure. You have on the top all of the feathering with some coloration of black or a brown, whatever you like to call that, and the feathers lead up all the way to the tail, which is obviously on a bendy wire, and the tail actually has like a little bit of a cliff here, and the feathers are all just beautifully molded. Even on the leg, it has feathering, and it's all like oh my god, mismatched. Jesus, sorry about that. On the arms, it has more feathering, and it is just beautiful on how they did this figure. Especially this tail, it has a little crest up here that has feathers. Its little ridges on its eyebrow ridges, and its like midsection ridge is beautiful. How it's like really prominent. The feathers on the lower chin is really great. The teeth are astonishing. They're all like not big, not weird colored, just great all around. It does have raptor feet, but I'm pretty sure these are different feet. But yeah, the sculpting is great. How they did the little snout piece right here. You have the nose that is dual molded in. The gums. Let's see if I can get the gums on camera. Gums are really great. Also, the eye, it's not picking up as good as in person, but this eye is just one of the best eyes for a smaller figure. Now looking at the underbelly, it has really nothing there. It's kind of just plain basic. That's kind of what's throwing me off about this figure. But the feet obviously has creases. Looking at the inner side of the wings, or you could say arms, the thing that makes me mad a little bit is they don't have this coloration on the feathering in the inside, and the claw is not painted with the others, which they did paint these claws, which is great, but they didn't paint these claws. But I guess they could get away with it because they're already kind of black with the feet. But yeah, let's get into articulation. And looking at this figure's articulation is magnificent for a smaller figure. Now, let's start off from head to tail. Let's just do it that way. Starting off with the head, it has obviously a jaw movement, and it's a really good jaw movement. Onto the head and neck part, it looks back this far. Actually, could go all the way, but it looks back quite a bit, and so it looks unrealistic. The neck is actually not on a whatever those things are called. It's more of on the sticky molochs, but it works way better with this figure. Moving on to the arms, we obviously have like generic arm movement, except this piece. This piece is a very new mold, and it is on one of the same articulation as this one, just very small, which is very great. Moving on to the leg, we have whatever you would call this. It could go all the way around. That's the hip. I'm so sorry. The calf or the shin, knee area goes this far back, this far forward. And looking at the feet or toe articulation, it goes this much back, this much forward, and it's on a ball joint, so it could go all around. And looking at the tail, it's obviously going to be on a bendy wire, but this bendy wire just works so good. Just, oh my gosh. And I posed this guy for a while off camera, and you could get a lot of poses with this guy. I'm surprised most people don't review this figure, because it is a very, very good figure. So now, with all that being said, let's move on to second to last part, which is the paint and applications. Yep. I know I did talk about the paint in the first part of this video, but let's just talk about it comparing it to a generic Mattel figure, the pyroraptor you saw on camera. So we're just going to have this guy up. Okay, he's just not going to stand. And his head doesn't stand either, so bear with him. The paint is obviously an upscale as it's a premium figure. And I just want to point this out. This figure is way smaller than the actual generic Mattel figure. The paint is just a black underbelly with some black legs, and the top half is a maroon or dark red color, following up these grayish blue feathers on its arms, and having a brown, I guess you could say, dry brush on the top of it, following to the tail. And I want to point out it has hints of gray on the area or the head area, which it looks really good. It's such a plus for the Mattel. Looking at the generic figure, it has these orange head crest feathers, which I don't remember it having in the movie, or I could just be mistaken. I'll pop one up on the screen right here. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I'll see you later when I'm done posting this video. The red feathering doesn't follow all the way out, but the thing that increases on this figure is it has at the end of the tail, it has these light gray feathers, which is just phenomenal, which obviously this figure doesn't have, meaning the tails are completely different. This one's more fluffier with feathers, but this one's just more straightforward. And yeah, so let's get to the final part of this video. So we made it this far to the end of the video. So before we end this video off completely, y'all make sure to like and subscribe so you can be uploaded on all of my posts and my next review, which I guarantee you guys it's going to be the Carnotaurus. Just give me some time. But overall for this figure, the paint applications, I give it a 10 out of 10, except for the claws, and the feathering probably is going to knock it down to a 8. I don't like how you're going to paint some claws and not paint other claws on the same figure. It just gets me annoyed. The articulation, 10 out of 10. The scaling, I'm going to have to knock it down to a 5 out of 10 due to it being a little bit too big. But we also saw that with the Sticky Moloch, which I love that figure too. But overall, I give this figure an 8 out of 10. I know that probably that's not how the ranking thing does, but I give it an 8 out of 10. You guys should definitely pick this figure up, but not for the price I got. If you guys do want that price, I will link it down in the description. But you should try to get alternate prices because this was an expensive figure. So with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. I've already said that, I'm so sorry. But I'll see you guys in the next review. See ya.